Hello folks, this is Oppu Laine from Amorphis and Octoploid, and you are watching CMS TV.
It is CHRIS Akin Presents, and I, of course, am Chris Akin. And today on the show, we are going to introduce a new band from a favorite of mine. It's an old band from Amorphis, one of my all-time favorites. The band is called Octoploid. The new album, the debut release, is called Beyond the Aeons. And here to tell us all about it is the bassist of the band and the main man of the band, I would say, Oppu Laine. Oppu, how are you, man?
Hello Chris, this is Oppu. It's good to be here, man. And yeah, it's nice weather in Helsinki at last. The summer is started to kick in, so feeling good after the long winter.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I gotta think you heated it up with this new release, man. It's what a hot, unexpected record. Like, for me personally, I had I'm an Amorphis fan, so I kind of keep up with what you guys do. I had no even inkling that this thing was coming until it hit my inbox, and I was like, "Whoa, what's this?" And then listening to it, I have a lot of questions from listening to it, because honestly, and we'll get into it, but this is music that I don't think has a subgenre for yet. You know how everybody tries to put it into, well, it's black metal, or it's death metal, or it's prog metal, or you're all of that, and distinctly all of that without being one of those. It's a very unique sound. So why don't we start with maybe you giving us a little bit of background into how this band Octoploid came together and how you chose the musicians that would fit your vision for what you're trying to create.
Oh yeah. This is a long story. It's something which was in my mind already like 20 years ago or something. I just wanted to come up with the solo album at some stage of my life, and I kind of always thought that the milestone 15th anniversary for me would be the right time. And then when it was like 1 year to that event, I thought, okay, it's now or never. If it's not happening now, then I just should forget about it. And for some reason, I just phoned Mikko Pietinen, who is a friend of mine and Manhai drummer, our stoner rock band from couple decades, and asked if he would like to join me with my solo album. And he has his own studio, and so it was kind of of course, I enjoy his playing. He's kind of loose drummer, and he's not exactly a metal player, which makes it even more interesting a pick for a metal album. So so we started to build it up little by little on 2022, and we weren't even aware of if it's going to be an album after all, or is this just a demo or something which we are just trying out. And we didn't have any other members involved yet, so there was only drums and bass and my demo guitars and demo keyboards and stuff like that. So we played on top of those and created the basis of half of the album, maybe 4 songs or so on. And then I've started to find another musicians, and luckily I found Peter Salonen, who is a great guitar player. He is not also a metal player exactly. He's playing more of a psychedelic rock, and that suited me even more perfectly, because I wasn't looking for metal musicians actually. he was playing some Kingston Wall covers in YouTube. Kingston Wall
Okay.
is a great psychedelic rock band from Finland from the 90s. You probably know it, but it was a huge influence for Amorphis back in the days, and it still is. And Esa is actually playing few shows with those guys
Okay.
this year in Finland. So that's then when we had like trio bass with the band, it started to be more serious, and we were able to come up with few songs where I asked keyboard players like Kim Rantala, who's been in Amorphis as well, and Casper Mortensen, ex-Amorphis and Baron Earth guy, to play keyboards. And they aren't exactly metal musicians either, so
Sure.
there was lots of like different perspective outside from the box in the process of making of the album, and also lots of freedom for musicians to improvise, for example. And yeah, I just wanted to give. I had certain guidelines for the riffs and melodies and so forth, but I asked them to just give a little spices every here and there. If there's space to do something, just go for it. And yeah, that's how it started. And since it was pretty hard to come up with a permanent vocalist for the band, because all the great metal vocalists are reserved in
Sure.
Germany
Sure.
for a reason, of course. But still, there wasn't like one single person who I could pick to sing all the songs. Then I just had an idea that maybe I could just bring all the vocalists from my musical history and musical career so far, and that's the idea behind of having multiple vocalists,
Sure.
like Tomi Koivusaari and Tomi Joutsen from Amorphis, and Mikko Kotamäki from Swallow the Sun, and naturally Baron Earth, and Jon Aldara, also from Baron Earth and
Right.
Comfort, and then there is Pete Eskelinen, who is an old friend of mine. He was singing in a band called Rapture, which was kind of a big deal for me back in the days in the 90s, and I just wanted to have him on the album because he's been on my mind pretty long time
Sure.
already. I just wanted to do something with him, and now it's done. And let's see. Probably we'll keep on working together in future
Right.
as well. But let's see. Also, I got Janitor Muurinen from Xysma to sing a little bit on the album, and
Sure.
almost Pasi Koskinen.
Well, with all these guys, let me just stop you right there for a minute, Oppu. With all these different people in the mix, how did you write cohesive songs? Did you write pieces for specific people, or did you give them some input to create vocal, as an example, for music that you had already written?
Well, I would say that since the songs were ready, and I probably actually I just picked up the song, for example, Coast of the Drowned Sailors, and I thought like, okay, this has like old Amorphis and Elegy vibes. I probably should ask Tomi Koivusaari to sing in it. So it went actually that way around. There were like ready songs, and then I just picked up vocalists for the songs. And I just thought like, okay, whose voice could fit this song? And since they are all crawling vocals, there is not that much variation between the vocals. Probably a little bit, yeah, but still, yes, it was that way around. First there was music, and then I started to think about the vocalists who could fit the exact songs.
Definitely. Now, Oppu, as I mentioned before, this thing covers a lot of musical ground. There are definitely parts that feel death metal-y, little bit, and that's more vocal thing, but there's a lot of parts that feel like something out of a 70s Emerson, Lake and Palmer record. You really kind of challenge musically. When you do that, how do you know that you're creating it the way that it should be created when there's no real blueprint to follow?
Well, that's a hard question. It's nothing is intentional on this album. It's just something that happened, and it was just a result of letting things happen naturally and to come out naturally. And I thought, like, if like some part would had like Leonard Skinner vibes, I just let it be like that. It's just like, okay, now we need piano here and slide guitar and so forth.
Sure.
And and yeah, and if it was like Morbid Angel part, then there should be a blast beat and
Right.
almost distortion and so forth. But still, we did some little bit unorthodox things as well. We made some experiments in the studio. We tried to create some like death metal songs or part of the songs without any distorted guitar, and we actually succeeded in it. I don't know if you noticed it, but for example, in Human Moral, there is no distorted guitar at all.
Right.
In the beginning, since there are and there are scrolling vocals on it, and it like feels and sounds completely natural to me, at least. So it was all about how it sounds like. I didn't want to think how to do. I mean, like how it should be done. It's like more of an. It was all about experimenting and trying things out. Now that it's possible, because I have my own little studio here, and I can try things. And if it doesn't work, I just abandon it. And if it's good, if it's something totally out of the box, but it works, it's all right to be there.
Sure. Is that experimentation that you have, does that come from the various bands that you've been in? Because you personally have been in such a wide stylistic group of, I mean, Barren Earth to Chaos Breed, no connection musically, and Amorphis to Manhigh, really not a lot of connection there musically. I mean, you personally explore a lot of different things. Is this music kind of like the culmination of everything that you've done kind of put into one place?
Well, yes, exactly. That's the whole point. And it's kind of unfiltered stuff which comes out. And with Amorphis, we learned how to compose music back in the 90s. And we didn't play that well back in the days. But with Manhigh, for example, I learned how to play bass very well, like much better, not very well, but as good as I can, because it was trio band, and it was totally naked on stage, and you had to fill all the gaps with the bass, and there was lots of playing in that band and lots of improvisation, and it was totally different kind of role for me. And with Barren Earth, it was all about writing songs, and that's where I kind of it was kind of school of composing for me, because we did so diverse songs, and we made some prog metal songs. It wasn't exactly prog rock, but we made prog rock with the metal sound. And with Octoploid, I'm trying to bring it nearer to original prog rock, and without that metal element present all the time. It has to be there in the sake of contrast, but still, I try to just make the contrast a little bit steeper, and yeah. And now that I'm again in Amorphis, it's like feels like everything is glued together. It's like the songwriting and the playing and everything that I've learned in 30 years is now like in completion, if you know what I mean.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Oppu, let's dig into the record a little bit. I always try to start with what is my favorite song on the record, and for Beyond the Ions, for me, I had to go deep into the record to find my favorite, but my favorite is The Hallowed Flame. I really, and this goes to just what you were just saying about the using the different styles to really contrast each other. This one has some really hard turns in it. Tell me a little bit about this song and how you were able to flawlessly fuse that again, I'm going back to the ELP sound, but you flawlessly mix in that ELP with some very modern, menacing vocal style.
Well, yeah, it's just like maybe it just like took a little bit courage to do things. It's not that anyone couldn't do it. It's totally possible and doable. But it has to, of course, it has to be done with a good taste as well. You just cannot mix things like like opera singing and stoner rock, for example. It would sound ridiculous, but still, with Hallowed Flame, it's basically it's a kind of waltz song. So that's something which is like a signature thing from 90s Amorphis, for example, like talking about Black Winter Day, for example. It's kind of I think Kasper Mortensen, who wrote Black Winter Day, is kind of father of that sort of songwriting in metal. I don't know, I can't recall any other waltz songs from that era in death metal or metal in general.
Sure.
But he was coming outside of the metal world, and he was therefore capable of trying and doing such things. So that's something which is kind of easy for me to do, to write songs in waltz time signature, but it cannot be over. You cannot do it too much because maybe one song in one album is already enough, you know. Well, it's also easy way of style of music to combine different elements. It's kind of slow song, and but it's still is screaming for something to break the pattern with, which would be like a rock metal part in the middle, you know.
Right.
And
No,
also
definitely.
some doom fits. So it's also necessary to do something entirely different in the middle of the song or at some part in order to make it sound more interesting, and then you can return to something similar again.
Sure. Do you do you hear songs like when you're listening to it, and do you hear like the space, like when you're writing it, do you write it all death metal-y and then say, oh, I got to break it up here, I hear a change here? Is that how you work?
Well, sometimes it is, but not all the time. So it's it depends totally, but it's also easy way to add dynamics to the song, to do something totally different at some stage. But it again, it has to be done in a correct way, and usually I have maybe 2 or 3 parts in a song, and then I start to dig from my own riff library or melody library from my cell phone or from my computer, and check out if there's something totally different which would fit. Usually it's like if there's like melody which is based on Finnish slugger music, but it's arranged to be a metal riff and a metal melody. Usually if you add like oriental death metal riff after that, it's usually a good trick, and you probably it's very often it sounds good, and
Sure.
it fits together. So those are the rules which I've learned
Right.
with time, and I think it's possible for anyone to learn how to write music, but it just takes time and determination and doing things a little bit differently from time to time.
Sure. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit for how creative you are, my friend. This is a very creative, distinct record. And, I'm just say that you don't necessarily have to agree. I know you guys don't love to promote and plug yourselves, but this is one of the most diverse, creative, metal-ish records I've heard in years. It really does explore a lot of territory, which to me made it one of the more fun records I've heard in a long time, just because it does not follow any sort of pattern, which I think is probably exactly what you were going for. Yes.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Well, I have to say that I wasn't going after anything with this album.
Okay.
To be entirely honest, it just like came out and I just tried to follow my heart with like everything I did, and naturally I had great musicians to support me, and Petri Majuri, the mixing engineer, did a great job as well, and but still it took a little bit convincing sometimes that this is going to work, but because when you're in a demo phase, it's usually doesn't sound always that great, but you can still hear it in your head.
Sure.
So you have to just tell the people who are around you that trust me that this is going to be all right.
Right. Is this a time, and this is kind of an amorphous question, but it's really about you and Asa, etc. Is this a time for you guys where you need outlets outside of Amorphis to fulfill you musically? Because obviously you're doing this record. Asa a couple years ago did Silver Lake. It's one of the few times that you guys have really kind of stepped away from the band to do something without the band's name on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think it could have something to do with the age. When you're in your 50s, you become more confident and you don't care too much about what the people are thinking. And with in a band situation, it's always a compromise. You have to you have to listen what other people has to say, and there's producer involved, and things are not necessarily always going as you thought it would be. And of course, I could have done these songs with Baron Earth, for example. They are
Sure.
not that far away from Baron Earth's music. Maybe the arrangements are a little bit different, but still it didn't. It wasn't that intriguing idea for me to start to arrange the songs together, and because it's always compromise is always taking away something from your own original idea, because usually other people just cannot see in your head, and they cannot they don't know how it should sound like
Right.
in the end. So it was way easier for me just to be in charge and be my own boss with it, and having possibility to tell people what to play, for example. And
Right.
but that's the idea of putting out solo albums currently. It's something that I couldn't have done 10 years ago, because I wasn't that confident and sure about my abilities. But now that I have like 20 songs in my drawer all the time, it's possible to come up with an album just like
Right.
that.
Absolutely.
It requires lots of work, even
Sure.
though the songs are ready, but still, yeah, that's how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, it is a great release. The name of the project is Octoploid. The name of the album is Beyond the Aeons. And where should we tell people to go to pick this one up? Oppu, where should we tell them to go online, or is there Facebook or a website, or what do you got?
Well, I heard that at least Amazon is selling it from
Okay.
the internet, and yeah, it's basically Raining Phoenix's distribution, which is handling this. I don't know. They have their own office in US and in North America, so probably will find it from there. But I know for sure that you can order it from Amazon, and there is a link in my bio and in Raining Phoenix's website where you
Okay.
can order it.
Very good. And for people that are wanting to get it, it does come out officially here in the States on July the 5th. So a couple months still. There is, I know Human Immoral is out there on YouTube and whatnot that you can check out to get a taste of it. So one more time, it is Octoploid Beyond the Aeons. And Oppu, thank you so much for joining me here on CHRIS Akin Presents.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you very much. Thank you for the interview.
Sure. All right.
Do you want to watch the classic metal show all day long? Do you have a Roku? If your answers are yes and yes, then you need to get Wowza TV on your Roku. It's free to install and brings you the classic metal show on your TV 24/7. Just look up and install Wowza TV in the Roku streaming store, and you can enjoy the CMS all day and night right on your TV. Yes, folks, this includes the live editions of the CMS as well. Install Wowza TV now on your Roku and never be without the classic metal show again.